So as most of you guys know, the end of the season is just around the corner, and in less than 1 month time, Season 8 is going to end. A lot of you guys, I'm assuming, is trying to hit that next rank goal, probably gold elo, because that's where you get your Victoria skin and you get your nice gold border. But for me, I want to get Challenger because look at this is such a nice recoil animation. You'll get a plastic jacket that you probably never use, and also bragging rights as well. I worked my ass off to get all the way to Challenger. Most of you guys know that I actually hit 507 LP very recently, so it's on the screen right now, and very sad to say that I'm at 387, so that takes a lot of losses, so I'm actually very tilted. As you guys can tell from yesterday's video, how my voice is literally half zombie, where I was just like actually dying inside, and just wasn't a good feeling. But at that point, I just had to play on other accounts, and I definitely need to get back on track because I've been neglecting my YouTube for solo queue. Anyways, I wanted to tell you guys a little quick story and how this might actually help you guys because there's a moral behind the story as well. As you guys know, I was at 507 LP, proof is right here as well on the op.gg very recently. It's literally like a week or two ago. I have a bunch of losses here, and unfortunately op.gg only goes back 6 days. It doesn't go back any further, but before that there was a crazy ton of losses there as well. It was really bad. It's like probably like 5 or 6 losses there. So I've been on a very bad loss streak. If you take away these few wins, I'm probably on a 9 loss streak. It's really bad. I just want to show you guys really quick what the causes of these losses are and how you can fix them. Look at this jungler, he's 1-9. If you have someone that dies this many times, he was like 0-8 at like 15 minutes in. If you have someone that dies this much in Challenger Elo, the game's over. So there was nothing more to see here other than to play better. But in all honesty, this Rumble is very questionable. I think he's like a booster at the very end of the season because he only recently picked up Rumble. And also this season, he climbed from Bronze 1 all the way to Diamond 1. So that's very suspicious that he doesn't play all his main champions. He's completely switched his champion roster and started maining Rumble with a 72% win rate. Very, very suspicious, but well, that's besides the point, right? Because this is Challenger Elo, no one can really smurf in Challenger. We do have someone that's feeding a lot. He goes into my lane and he gave Rumble a free kill. But besides that, we have the other game. So this game, he did 400 damage. He literally did not gank a single lane, pretty much AFK. On top of that, I didn't play so well. No one on my team actually got a kill except for me. Literally, I was just getting camped 3-manned and everyone lost. So more of the story, this guy, this Kha'Zix, he is an ADC main. The Kindred that you saw earlier, he is a mid lane main. We go to the next game. This game was really close, but again, this jungler didn't do anything. He's a Pantheon, he's supposed to have a lot of damage early. This guy is a Echo and Riven Zed. He's basically a mid lane main. So you guys kind of get the idea, and you might be asking right now, why didn't you dodge? You advocate dodging. You are the pinnacle of a dodger, right? And to that I say, if you look at the first guy, Kindred, back when I played with him, this 1-9 game before that, I checked his history, he had a jungle game, who was 5-2. He had Graves game as a jungle, 7-4. I thought, okay, should be fine. So that was that game. And then this one, I thought, hey, I'm up against the Maokai, this is a free win. Also, we have this guy who's on his role, mid lane. ADC was on role, and the support is an ADC main, so he will understand what a support needs to do. So I thought, everyone else is fine, it's just the jungler, and how bad can it be because I heard that Kha'Zix counters Eve. So I thought, this is fine. Obviously, turns out it's not fine. This game was really close, to be honest, and I felt like we could have easily won. Don't worry about the damage, I actually did super well. I actually won my lane against Ryze, and you guys know that against Ryze, your laning phase is non-existent in terms of damage to Ryze. He just keeps poking you. Once he goes out of mana, teleports back with a tier and keeps poking you down. So it's not fun at all, and he also has phase rush, so if you go anywhere near him, he'll just run away really fast. And that's basically the pinnacle of Challenger Elo here. But I still won. I managed to win by rushing Merc Treads and just diving him by myself. This Pantheon did not gank for me once, but we still managed to do really, really well. Unfortunately, this was a very close game, so I have to say it's no one's fault in this one. And next one, right? You see this guy, he even has Quinn in his name. He's playing Quinn jungle. If you look at his stats, he is Diamond 5. I honestly thought at the time, because he one-tricks Quinn and he has 500 games played on Quinn, he probably knows how to jungle on her. Obviously not, because this guy's Diamond 5 and he's very inconsistent. He has 15 deaths, 8 deaths, 11 deaths, 10 deaths, 9 deaths, 0-7. He is very high on his deaths and he belongs in a much lower elo than Diamond. I kind of oversaw that, and also I was pretty tilted. Being tilted really clouds your judgment. Make sure that if you see anyone that's off-roll on jungle, even if they played that champion recently, but they're off-roll, they don't play that often, you make sure you dodge. Without a doubt, just dodge. It really, really helps. Like, if I could tell myself in the past, I would have told myself, if anyone is a jungle off-roll, 100% dodge, no exceptions, zero, just dodge. No matter how good your team looks, just dodge. I'd say also apply this to mid and ADC. If those guys are off-roll, make sure you dodge. But what's more important than being on-roll is make sure that they play those champions. For example, if it's a mid lane main that plays a lot of Anivia and randomly just picks Yasuo, you look at his history and he doesn't play Yasuo. Maybe he plays like 2 games of Yasuo at 50% win rate. You make sure you dodge that one. It's really bad. So that's just an example. The other thing to note that is, while I was really tilted and losing all these games, I was playing on my Diamond 2 account and I was winning, like non-stop winning. So it's really good to have a smurf just to let out some steam, let out some toxicity that was bottled up in you, and just try to carry. There was this particular game in Champ Select Lobby where this Annie was like, I can't jungle and anyone else that can, make sure you jungle. So the mid laner decided to offer up his role and give it to this off role. So now we have 2 off roles instead of 1. It was pretty bad, but actually this guy did really well for some reason. And I wanted to note that this Annie also said this. He's like, Tryndamere into Jax? Yikes. To that I said, like, I don't know why I was so toxic, but I said, first time Annie into Aurelia? Yikes. And guess what happened in the game? This Annie went about 1-5 in lane, and lost tower, just kept dying over and over to Aurelia. So what I had to do to counteract that was I had to make this Jax go 0-6. I took his tower, and then after that, I got fed and started hunting the Aurelia. Tryndamere actually hard counters Aurelia really hard. There's nothing Aurelia can do. As long as you're decently fed or somewhat even, or even if you're behind her, but not by that much, you can easily beat Aurelia any point in the game. So that's something to note. Basically, hunted Aurelia down, and as a split pusher, to be top of the damage is very, very impressive. Most of the time, if you're split pushing, you're either hitting minions, taking towers, or if you do any damage, it's just to outright kill your opponent. So having 20k damage is actually really high, considering I didn't join any team fights. So that's just a quick example right there. And during all this time when I was very tilted, especially this Annie game, right away at the very start of the game, make sure you just mute all, because if say I didn't mute that game, that Annie would be flaming me, and I'll be maybe tempted to flame her back and say, hey, you're actually feeding like I predicted. But I didn't do that. I just muted all, and I just carried to the best of my ability. Even though Annie was losing tower, getting killed over and over again, I just did my part, make sure I avoided certain areas of the map where Annie basically opened up for the enemy, and played accordingly, split pushed, hunted Aurelia, and won. This is something you can do in the lower elos where there's a lot of mistakes made by both teams. But when you're in Challenger elo on my main account, that's not as plausible because everyone's playing near perfect. So that's the main difference. If you're playing to the highest of your skill cap, then you can pull these off in the lower elos. So especially true in Platinum, especially true in Gold, and even more so in Silver and Bronze where you can just 1v9 literally. As long as you play a carry champion. So make sure you don't limit yourself to playing a support or making the excuse that you're playing a tank and that, you know, your team just loses, you can't carry. In Bronze and Silver, you can 100% carry if you just play any damage dealer that is somewhat good in this meta. So more of the story, and to summarize, hopefully that you guys can get your ranked season rewards within the month, is make sure that you dodge if you have off rolls. This is especially true in Diamond and above, 100% true in Master and Challenger. Make sure that if you're in mid Diamond and below, you mute all because they don't have anything important to say. Because what I've noticed is in Master and Challenger, those are the players that will start putting timestamps down of the exact times of enemy summoner spells and important cooldowns as well as rotations that are very crucial and usually correct. But in mid to low Diamond is just flame or useless information, especially because they have an ego problem, you know, so they think they know their shot calls but they don't, and it ends up frustrating you or leading you into bad situations. So make sure you mute all. It's very important that you do that, and that's how I started winning. When I was tilted, I got this account demoted to D3, and then after that I started to correct myself, started to mute all, got back to D2 very easily. Oh, and what's very important is if you're very tilted, make sure you have a smurf account so that you can play, just let out some steam, do whatever you want, spam games, it doesn't really matter, but don't spam games on your main. And yeah, I think that's all that I have to cover for you guys. Hopefully you guys found this useful. I really do hope that you guys get your gold borders or your plat or your diamond or even your challenger borders if you're that high elo and watching me. And yeah, I'll see you guys all tomorrow because I actually wrote down a bunch of ideas that I want to make and they should be pretty good. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers.